In this video, I'm gonna show you guys step by step how to restore headlights by hand. Now let's get straight into it. What's going on? So glad you guys are here and welcome back to the Wilson Auto Detailing community. If you are a professional auto detailer who wants to become more successful and profitable in your business, or just a car enthusiast who wants to improve your detailing ability, then definitely consider hitting that big red subscribe button right below this video. So right now I'm on location and I have detailed this Toyota RAV4, but now I'm restoring the headlights and we're about to talk about exactly what I did to go from there to there. All right, so as you guys can see, this headlight looks fantastic, and it was actually very simple what I did. So let's make this quick and show you guys exactly what I did by hand in order to get these kind of results. So just as a disclaimer, when I say by hand, what I mean is I am sanding by hand. There are things that you can buy. You can buy sanding discs, you can buy sanding drill attachments that you can do this not by hand. But when I say by hand, I mean the sanding part is done by hand. In order to actually polish out the sanding marks, you're going to need some sort of buffer. Doing that by hand is going to be very difficult. So when I say by hand, just as a disclaimer, I want to say I mean the sanding. So how do we do this? Well, many of you guys are probably aware of how this actually works already, but I'm going to briefly describe it. The reason why headlights fog up like this and get yellow is because manufacturers put a sort of clear coat layer on the exterior part of the headlight, just like they do on the paint. It's not exactly the same thing, but it's the same idea. It's made to protect the underlying plastic. Now, when headlights are not cleaned or maintained on a regular basis, and most people's are not, then that thin, clear-coated kind of protective layer of plastic starts to get damaged, starts to get bug etching, starts to get water drops, water spots. It starts to turn yellow and get dirty and fog. And so the only way to really get rid of this truly for like a permanent solution is to literally sand it with sandpaper. You have to sand that layer off of the headlight. Then after that layer has been sanded off, you can polish out those sanding marks and you get a really perfect appearance. And so what I'm gonna do is start with 800 grit wet dry sandpaper, because the 800 grit is going to bite very deeply into this headlight. There are times when I would start with like 600 grit because the headlight is so bad, but in this case it's not that bad, so I don't need to go lower than 800 grit. I'm gonna go from 800 to 1500 to 2000, and then after those 2000 sanding marks, 2000 grit sanding marks are in this headlight, I'm gonna go ahead and polish it out. So as I sand right here, I'm gonna keep a constant, not a constant flow, but a fairly constant flow of water to wash away the sanded away clear coat protective layer. So that's why they call it wet sanding. It keeps it from gunking up my sandpaper. And what I'm gonna do is actually sand in a uniform pattern. So I'm gonna go either up and down or side to side. I might go up and down on the sides here, but for the most part, I'm gonna go side to side because it's easier to polish out sanding marks when they're in a uniform pattern. So I'm gonna try to keep it uniform as much as I can. What I'm doing with this 800 grit is I'm sanding away until I can no longer see the protective layer of the clear coat. I'm gonna switch to 1500 grit sandpaper when the 800 grit has fully sanded away the yellowing, the marring, the scratching, when it's fully sanded away that exterior layer. And that kind of comes with experience, just being able to tell when that happens. But let's go ahead and start with the 800 grit and we'll come in after, before I go to 1500. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and switch to the 1500, and now a good way to tell of when all of that clear plastic protective layer is finally off is when it's all dry. You dry it off with a microfiber towel, let it kind of air dry for a second, and all of it is this kind of scratchy, cloudy finish. When there are areas that still need more sanding, you'll see kind of like a clear spot, and that's where the clear coat still needs to be sanded away, is that clear spot. But you guys can see it's all cloudy. So now I'm gonna switch to my 1500 grit, because all I'm doing now, going from my 1500 to 2000, is I'm making those sanding marks smaller and smaller and smaller so that they're easier to polish out. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch to my 1500, then after that I'm gonna go to my 2000, and then I'm gonna bring you guys in before we actually polish these sanding marks out. Okay guys, so now I've finished with the 2000 grit, and you guys can see the smaller the sand marks get, the clearer the headlight gets. So now what I'm gonna do is use my rotary polisher. I'm going to quickly polish it on about 1,000 to 1,400 RPM. I'm gonna use some show car polish. It's kind of comparable to Meguiar's 105. And just check this out. I'm gonna do this not in fast motion so that you guys can see what it looks like. And bam, there it is. So that's really like the simple step-by-step way to go from foggy, yellow, horrible headlights to literally perfect condition. Now there are some people at this point who would follow up with like a spray clear coat. I'm just going to seal it because I see this car on a regular basis, so there's no point in me doing that because I'm gonna keep maintaining it and keep maintaining it. If you're not gonna keep cleaning it and keep maintaining it, definitely put a clear coat layer on it because it's gonna keep it in this condition. But guys, that's basically all it is. Quick step-by-step, exactly how to restore headlights. So if this video added some value to your life, hit the thumbs up button. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hook up all that stuff in the YouTube comments below because I always read those and I'm sure to get back to you guys as fast as I can. And if you guys would like to buy anything used in this video, the polishes, the polishing pad, the polisher, or even the sanding paper, I'm gonna hook up links to Amazon, to all those products in the YouTube description box below. If you wanna buy those things, definitely use the Amazon links below because it does give this channel a small commission, but it helps this channel stay alive so I can continue to give out awesome content just like this all the time. If you're new to the Wilson Auto Detailing community, definitely consider subscribing because I come out videos all the time just like this on products, tools, strategies, communication skills, business skills, and so much more, all in an effort to help the pro detailers become more successful and profitable in their businesses. And on this channel, I share the same strategies that turn my business into a full-time income with only part-time hours. So if that interests you, definitely subscribe. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, keep working hard, and I'll see you guys in the next video.